All right, I guess we'll just get started. I know the Euclid Avenue Economic Development Committee recommended OHM's RFP, the request for proposal for an economic development study for Euclid Avenue Economic Development Study. Does anybody want to comment on it? Is there any like objections to this or any concerns or questions that this committee, the Finance Committee, wanted to discuss? Randy? You got to unmute yourself first, though, Rand.
It's not unmuted now?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. My opinion on this, and the only reason I would vote no on it, which I'm going to vote no on it, is that until we have the service department staffed, I don't see where we should be spending $45,000 on a study if we don't have money to staff the service department up to where it should be at. Or we can fix the referendum zoning first, because I believe the study is going to say that we need to change some of the zoning. And so if we don't get the referendum zoning taken care of first, then I would oppose spending $45,000 to do that. I mean, I'm all for putting the referendum zoning up on the ballot for it, but until we get that resolved and we have the service department staffed, I would oppose spending $45,000 on the study. That's my opinion.
Okay. Joe?
Mine was going to be to, I was doing upon some research, I came across an article and I sent it to Council, Monica, and the mayor. OHM was caught up in a lawsuit with a major construction company where a couple of their advisors were found guilty of fraud. And so I don't know, how anybody else feels, but I would think that, we need to discuss that more, because giving them money might not be in our best interest at this time. That's all I have on that. I sent everyone an article so they could check it out.
Okay.
Councilman Sack, did you send that today? I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Said, John, I put all the council on Monica, and I'm like, oh my God, I thought I covered you. And then I looked at the details and I didn't have you on it. So I just sent it to you. Like, you should have it right now. I just.
Oh, okay. Literally just 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah,
Guys, want to make sure I didn't miss it.
But I got everybody. And when I looked at details, I meant to include you. So.
No problem. I just want to make sure I got it. Yeah. And my only comment, thank you for that. My only comment to Councilman Gerhardstein is that 2018 and 2019, we proposed the referendum zoning. I did once, and then the Charter Review Commission did, and this council would not put it to the ballot. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that. I don't know if it's going to be a different situation now, but I agree. I was opposed to doing a strategic plan in the first place because I thought we needed to do the zoning first, and that would take care of part of it. But when you make aware of that, I already made 2 attempts at that with no avail. So unless we get, I don't know if everyone else has come to the realization yet that we need to do this based on my numerous emails. But maybe we got to find some compromise. A lot of times, Randy, as well, that when we go to apply for grants, if we don't have a plan backing it up, we don't get any grant money. So unfortunately, it's sometimes part of the process to get larger grants. And if Pete's on, Pete can talk to the study we did, years and years and years ago, implemented part of it. And then we did get approved for a grant, which we're not going to get for like 2 more years, but we got approved for that money because we had the study done. So just want to at least make sure you're aware of that.
Joe? Yeah,
no, on the referendum zoning, that was a meeting for the vote that I was unable to attend. And I feel like, are we also going to get a chance to vote on that again? Because all it is again, going to have the residents decide whether or not to get rid of referendum zoning or not. And I feel that they
Correct.
So that'll be something we discuss, Ed. I know it was brought up, but.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Randy about this a couple of weeks ago as well. And I did vote for giving the residents a chance to vote on it. But I think it's something we would have to, again, relook at in May and then pass it in June before the next election, because I don't know of any special elections that we want to have them vote on it for. So the next general election will be November. So for us to put it on the ballot, it would have to be done before July. anytime before July 15th or whatever, so it could be on the November ballot.
But
So,
again, it's
yeah,
just
3
for the
readings.
residents to decide whether to
Yeah,
get rid. Just
I
Correct.
believe I asked Sandy to look at that information to find that ordinance again, and we would just duplicate it again with a 2021 number. So
Okay.
get it again. I don't know if we need to meet in committee about it for a third, for the third year or 3 out of the last 4 years. So I don't know if we need to meet in committee about it, or just put it on the ordinance and let it read 3 times, and then we can discuss it and vote on it then. But that'll be happening this spring, I think. I believe that's what we should do.
Excellent.
Sherry, Maria, Tom, any input on this OHM RFP?
Well, I haven't gotten a chance to read whatever Joe sent us. I'd like to read that first.
I would
sort
too.
Yeah, I don't want to invest any money in a organization that, isn't all up and up.
Okay. So you want to table this committee? Go ahead, Maria.
Well, I want to look at it too. I mean, Joe, I mean, you have obviously spent some time looking at it. Was it 1 or 2 people that just got caught with their hands in the cookie jar, or was it, some kind of major fraud that happened? I mean, there's always issues. I mean, people do bad things, but it doesn't mean the whole organization is bad.
So what happened is in Reminderville, and then it was decided at the Lake County Common Pleas Court, January of 2020. Ed, can I just do that? I mean, it's not a long.
Go ahead.
deal, just-
Go ahead.
Yeah,
I got
please.
it.
Lake County Common Pleas Court returned a unanimous jury verdict in favor of Han Lozer, the client, Trax Construction, against the village of Reminderville, Ohio. But get to the part where it said the jury also found OHM advisors and Mr. Esser had committed fraud in addition to liability for compensatory damages, and awarded Trax $375,000 in punitive damages. There's other to follow. That was just the main. You'll see the other stuff, but that was kind of the main substance of that to make me kind of put on the brakes a little bit.
I mean, did they go into detail of, again, what type of fraud was it? I mean, I'm sure those employees were terminated.
Alleging that Reminderville's project manager and engineers directed Trax to perform the work before denying responsibility. It's like a 3-paragraph article. I don't know if you guys want me to read it on me.
I think the article was more about the case, and it didn't have any after effects of if anybody was terminated or what happened. I don't believe it got into that much detail, John.
Right, it went into
Gotcha.
all the parties involved and kind of the main source of why.
And again, another side thought. I mean, obviously everyone, read the email and take a look, but we can always go to, the second highest scoring. Again, there was another one, BAE, I think it was, that scored very well. That was very similar. Again, I'll do whatever. I mean, you guys know I've brought several ideas. We didn't get any traction there. Some of you guys wanted a plan. So I said, okay, we'll do a plan. So I'm ready to take action, whatever you guys decide to do.
Monica?
Thank you, Ed. I just want to point out MS was the number 2 or the number 2 scored consulting firm. I think OHM and MS were very on par with one another, both at 45,000. I think it would be good not to necessarily award to the specific company until due diligence, and perhaps some calls can be made to find out exactly what happened. You do have a second consulting firm that actually, I think everybody scored number 2, or pretty much, or the consensus was they were scored number 2, and they happen to be the same price point. Just to discuss Randy's comments, which I certainly appreciate those. The city of Wickliffe has not had this type of review of zoning, this type of review of planning done. I think, is it 2002, 2006 was the last time. Normally in cities, comprehensive reviews or comprehensive plans are done every 5 to 10 years max. The city of Willoughby Hills is currently undergoing their master planning comprehensive plan. The city of Kirtland will undergo their next one in, I believe, 2022. They do it every 10 years. So it is very, very unusual for this type of planning review, review of zoning to have gone this long. It's a little, what we would say, long in the tooth between reviews. The last plan that was done was a TLCI grant, which was completed in 2006. That made the city eligible for NOACA funding, which, as both John and Pete will attest to, we applied for funding. We got denied the first round. We got subsequently approved for funding, which it's going to be a couple years out, but we still did, and it's directly due to the fact of the planning. So anytime you're dealing government, everything's about planning first, and then the plans support the funds of improvements. So with those type of aspects being done, yes, it's important to take a look at things when you're getting, my gosh, close to 15 years old. It gets a little long, and it is appropriate timing to take a look at things. So I just wanted to share that.
Okay, just to go back on the first thing you said though, Monica, you think we need to do some due diligence on MS as a second one, as a second option?
So MS was the Euclid corridors. They had a consensus that was number 2. Some of them scored very, very closely to one another. I know we have 3 of the 4. I don't see Matt on the call, but Tom, Maria, Joe, you can all speak to that. They did have a very strong zoning sub-consultant that they were working with as well. So
Okay, Maria.
So I agree. I think we should look at the second group, but I don't think we should walk away from the first group until we investigate that a little further too. I think, we're looking at one article, and this is Honloger, and they're a really strong firm that really goes after people and usually wins. But I'm reading what this is about, and they're definitely broadcasting this and trying to get as much media play as they can out of it as a group. And they're very proud of their victory that their trial team brings, and it should send a cautionary message to engineer project managers who direct extra work to be performed without expectation of paying the contractors the appropriate compensation. So this was, a contractor's, bid against not getting paid what they felt they should get paid for whatever work they did. I mean, that's what I can just see from the article. So that could say a lot. I mean, it could not necessarily be their fault. So we probably should, delve into this a little bit more before we completely, nix them. I mean, this is a lawsuit. So, and Honloger doesn't lose their lawsuits, but, we should probably look at it first before we say absolutely not. But I agree. Let's look at the second too. So if you want me to check into this, I mean, I do happen to know someone at Honloger too, so I can ask, if she wanted to give me a little bit of background on what might have happened. She'll probably be very happy to talk about her victory, or the firm's victory. So let me find out some details about that, and then maybe somebody else can look into, or we can look into the number 2 group too. I mean, let's do it quickly so that we don't just belabor this.
I agree, Maria. If you can look into OHM, and then if Monica can look into the MS, the second one, it was scored number 2, and get some some references and see if they're okay with what, or if she approves of what they said or what they're capable of doing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And just to share with you, MS Consulting just got awarded a NOACA TLCI grant. I believe it was put forth by Chagrin Watershed along with the health district for for working with like East Lake Willoughby Health Department and Chagrin Watershed are some of the key components, and looking at trails and TLCI study along the Chagrin River corridor. So I do know that they just received that. And when NOACA has certain ones that they pre-qualify at a state level to be eligible to do their planning grants. So just to share that with you as well.
Yeah, Ed?
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I was wondering with the question of, isn't there a spring election that maybe we can move that into a vote with the voters on our zoning?
I am not aware of, and if there was a March primary or a special election, I'm not sure what the cutoff date is at the
Yeah.
elections, which it usually is like December. So I doubt I think we passed that. I mean, we're either at or right around that time period of getting that passed. I think last time we tried to put something on the March was the zoning for Berry. We passed in December to be on that March thing. So I don't know if we have time to have it in the March, but I think we can do it in the spring to have it on the November election if we want to do it.
Because there's a lot of talk and concern about our zoning. Obviously, it's our number one problem. We can't entice businesses in here with our zoning laws. They can't wait 16 months, because or 18 months before something is decided by the city. So, and I think we have a good zoning review board that's I think is quite on top of it. So, but that's all I have to add.
Anything else? So to sum it up, we're going to table this. Maria's going to look at OHM and find out what's going on with that lawsuit or what happened in that lawsuit. Monica's going to look at MS. Hopefully we can get an answer back from you guys or an update by Monday, the 14th. Then I can call for another committee meeting so we can make a decision by the 21st if need be. If not, then it's going to push into January. So my hope is that you guys can give us some answers by meeting time on the 14th. Okay.
I'm on it.
Thank you. All right. Well, we'll end this meeting at 7:20. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
You too.
Thanks, everyone.
Yep. Have a good night.